socials, bits of everything set up. Let me get that out of the way because you don't want to see that in your picture. Right, there we are. Let's bring that down a bit. There we are. I think that you guys can see that quite clearly. Let me just get everything in place for you. Okay, so we go. Let's have a look. Okay, Instagram. Hi everybody, righty ho. Let's just have a look. Morning Rage Debs, hello. Let's just click go live on everywhere. Okay, right. Looks like Facebook's live. Okay, let me just close. I don't know why, but we just had a load of fireworks going off, which is ridiculous. Hi Heather, Ruth, good morning. Right, so I am going to be limited on what conversations I see, unfortunately. So I'm really sorry that I'm not going to be able to have proper, hi Lou, proper full-on conversations now. Let's have a look. Yeah, comments will appear here. Right, so I am live on YouTube, hello, Facebook, hello, and Instagram, hello. So we've got 3 of my socials all running. They're watching this on different angles. The overhead angle is YouTube. The side angle is my Facebook, Lisa Magical Maker, and my Instagram is over this way. So you've got a total different, you've got like a view of everything. So you've got 2 side views and an overhead. Hi Alison. So it's going to be an interesting one if you're watching, and if you're lucky enough to be able to watch on all 3, go for it. So I'm just going to, before I officially start, because I've got probably a minute or so to spare, I'm just going to give you an idea of what I'm going to do today. So obviously you've all loved this. Morning Nettie. You've all loved this card. So I'm going to incorporate it a couple of different ways just to show how this style can go. Now I have already prepped. So obviously I tagged Kevin in the original because it was his card that inspired me. So going off his inspiration, I have used some of the Sweet Poppy Stampscapes, which is Kevin's one. So I'm going to be using probably this on, the leafless, what's that, limb. And I've used the moon set, which is Sweet Poppy, and then I've done the birch large tree, which is Kevin's, and all I've done on this one is I've just taken off, and I don't care that you can still see bits because I'm going to put other things there as well, and then I've drawn a small pencil line across there, and then I've masked. Now the reason why I've done this prior is I've masked in my Daler Rowney, which is the best thing since sliced bread if you're going to use a masking fluid. And I will show you how that comes off in one, pull it off, no damage to your papers or anything. So this is an old piece. As you can see, I have got like little marks here and there on it. Don't worry. Morning, Moira. And on this one, I used a couple of my stamps, which were the grasses, and that was off the O2 seam builder. But you could, those 2. And then I also use this one off the 07, but you can do it off just the one set. So if you've got the O2 seam builders, you can just use this and maybe even pop that lovely sort of fence in the background. So there's a couple of options that we've got, but I am going to hopefully get through to do your 3 cards, or at least 2. Now, I must admit, it was absolutely fabulous to see the lovely Lisa back, on regards to her moving and relocating to Portugal. So I might even watercolor inspired piece inspired by the lovely Lisa. So again, I have got my water brushes, my watercolor brushes, but I will be using the oxides, possibly a bit of elements as well, but I'm going to try and keep it all to one product, so you're all sort of, you've all got the same stuff to use on the same one. So the brushes, obviously I've got my Lavinia ones, I've got my number 7s and my number 3s, just black Nocturne Versifying Clay. I have got the Pigma Micron archival. That's if I want to add anything. Okay, so I've got that as a just in case. Morning Chris, can't stay with you. It's all right, sweetheart. Loves and kisses, my darling. Catch up will be available. I've also got an old toothbrush, and that's for my bleed proof white. and I've already got it on here. So all I'm going to do is activate. As you can see, it's just drying off. I'm going to activate it again with some water, spray that on, and that's ready for my toothbrush to give that little fine splattering effect. And I've got my pan pastels. So I have a full palette of an array of colours. Okay, so I'll go through the colours as I go along in that sense. So that's that. So my little brushes are for my pan pastels, my big brushes are for my oxides. So let me shift all this over here, and I've got one stamping block, which is quite a large one, and that's adequate for what I need. I've also got a rubber and a smudger. Rubber, yeah, I've got like my Derwent rubber as well, but again, I've just run the my Stanley knife down there just to clean it off a bit, because I found this in the cupboard and I thought, oh, crumbs, if I start rubbing things on that, I dread to think what I'm going to end up with. So I tried to clean that one off a bit. What else? I've showed you that. So that's my go-to with regards to any masking. Brilliant stuff. That one is brilliant. You'll see that anyway on that card, because I'm going to start with that card. So let me just go over the colours that I've got. Now, if you haven't got these, just use a yellow, use an orange, use a red. Yeah. So I've got squeezed lemon, spice marmalade, ripe persimmon, and lumberjack plaid. Those are all my oxides. And then again, oxides. I've got wilted violet, salvage patina, broken china, uncharted, and blue sketch print. That's done that. And there is some black soot in there as well, and a little bit of wild honey. Now, on the other variation I'm going to do, I'm also going to do mowed lawn and lucky clover. So we have options, you know, we have options. So without further ado, I believe we've passed the time scale. So I've done the introductions, you know what I'm using. Nothing's hidden, everything's there for view. So I'm just going to whack things out the way, so I've actually got a workable space now for you guys. So I'm making sure everyone can see everything. Hi Chanja, and hi Kim, Eileen, hi, thanks for watching. Tracy, Sharon, hello. So I'm going to start off with this one. As I say, I've already pre-stamped this, and this is on a 6x6, and this is just going to get you in for this, because like I say, once you master the smaller version, the bigger version is the easier one. So I'm trying to start off with littler versions with everybody, just so it gives you that feel. And as I've said, what I've used is the Sweet Poppy Stampscape sets, which are Kevin's ones. And as I said, I was inspired by Kevin's picture. It was a print off. Now I think it was Dina, her papers, and that's what he used, but I obviously just done my little twist on it and done some beams through it, and then I did the water ripples, etc. So I'm going to show you this one very shortly, but this is your theme for today. So I'm going to come on to this. I'm going to move that out the way, because that will be for the main one. I'm going to pop my card up here so I can see it as a reference. Morning Yvonne. And I'm going to move the inks just over a little bit. It's always nice to see what you're doing. Now on this one, I'm going to do a blend. Let's move the white. I don't need the white for now. I'm going to do a blend with watercolour, as well as using the brushes on the oxides. Now I have used my masking fluid. As I say, it's the Daler-Only that I'm using. I'll just give a close-up of that so you can see. Now I brought this out the Wolverhampton Art Shop, which is on School Street, I think. No affiliation or anything like that. I'm just telling you where I brought my supplies from. And this was it. I think it was £11, either £10 something or £11. And this will last you forever. It's absolutely is fantastic, and as you will see when I show you. So I've done a light coat on, and I have used my Frisk brush. And what I've done now, these you can use as they are, but I've also gone in and just normal Vaseline, and I've just done the corner, and I've just whisked it round. A trick that everybody uses, but it just keeps your brush nice, and it just wipes off nicely. And I just like to make sure there's no added overflow, and that's how I use, just to then put that on and leave it to dry. I've not heat tooled it or anything. That's why I've already pre-done it. I've let it dry naturally so you can see it in real time. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that little brush over there. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I've done a pencil line across there because I want that to be, that's my sunset. Well, it's going to be sort of a night sky-ish, because there's a moon there. I want to sort of give you that beam sort of thing, which will give you that. Oh, hello, what happened there then? Oh, I had one of my little cards. Well, oh, my little, what's it? Let's put that out of the way. Up there you go. So that area there, obviously we've got that there, but we're going to put it up here, and I'm going to bring that down. So I want all of that there, and then I want a really strong beam here. So you've got an idea then how to put your beams on nice and easily, because I know some people struggle with different things. Okay, so I'm going to try and be as easy as I could possibly be. So we've got masking fluid on. I've stamped on those, as I say, I used just so you can see. So this is the Birch Large Treats from Sweet Poppy Stamps, and it's licensed by Scenescapes. This is exactly that. And then all I've done down here to get that sort of continuation of the moss grass is I put ink on that little bit there, got my tissue, yeah, baby wipe, pulled out the tree bit, and I was left with sort of this sort of weird looking thing, but it's okay because I'll build that up anyway, and I want to add some sort of foliage in there as well. Okay, so there we go. That's easy. So I have skipped on that, but this preparation now for you guys will get you onto the bigger card. So the first thing I'm going to start on, I always start with a lighter colour, is I'm going to start with Squeeze Lemonade. And if you haven't got Squeeze Lemonade, whatever yellow you've got, mustard seeds, fossilised amber, scattered straw, Sundance if you've got an Elements. Yeah, you know, it hasn't got to be that particular. Now, you've got your moon down here. So I want to sort of have that light effect around here. Now, you've got your masking fluid on. Don't worry. Yeah, now I just want to just check out all the cameras so everyone can see everything fine. Yes, everyone's got good view. Okay, so let me shift them over. So I'm using Squeeze Lemonade, and I'm going to go in here like so. Okay, and that's that bit done. Dead easy. I know, I can hear you saying it now. Oh, okay, so spice marmalade. Now I'm going to go outer to come into it. And again, morning Marie. Oh, don't forget your phone. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so wherever you're watching, if you can give me a thumbs up, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube or Instagram, please like, comment, subscribe, all the usual bitsy bobsies and all that. It goes a long way. So thank you very much, and I appreciate you spending your Sunday with me this morning. But yeah, all good. So yeah, thumbs up and all that. I always forget. I'm glad you lot know what you're doing. Now, I've gone on with Spice Marmalade, and I'm going back in with the yellow. I'm not putting anything on it. It's whatever's on there. And then I'm going to do that blend now. As you can see, it's a seamless blend. This outer bit is quite rough, and they've still got the movement, but that's going to be for your other colours. I just want to pull the colours together, that bit there particularly. And then here, I can take off if I need to. Now I'm going to go in with a heavy colour now, which is Ripe Persimmon. Same brush as Spice. Now I'm not going to overload this because I know this is a really, heavy brush. And I'm going to come this side because the moon's that way. So I know that's going to be the darker part of my card. So I want sort of the colour part, because even though I'm doing a different scene, I've still got to be mindful of the natural elements of what I'm sort of showcasing. So I'm just going to do a little bit here and there, maybe bring it into here a little bit. And I've done sort of a blob, and I say a blob, and I've sort of done it down but taken off without blending it off, because I want that sort of cloud-esque look, and it was only a little bit that we needed onto there. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the red. I'm going to move these out the way now, and I'm still with the same brush. Because I think oranges and reds just all complement themselves really well. Now I am going to come down with a bit of red down here. Now I'm just mindful of where my line is there. And I'm just going to bring that in. And again, I'm using, I was shading. I'm using that sort of top part. I don't know if you can see how it domes. And that's all I'm using is that top bit. So it's quite straight. But then I'm just giving it those gentle movement along. Oh, hello, Eileen. Yes, very interesting. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. As I say, inspired by Kevin. So I thought I'll just start off with his stamps, which are obviously through Sweet Poppy. and then we'll get onto that bigger card, because once, like I say, once you've got this bit done, it's an easy progression for you guys. So this area here and down, I want to start bringing those blues in. Now, before I just go and slap a blue on, I do want to put a bit of purple in. And the purple I'm using is Wilted Violet. So I'm going to be just using all oxides at the moment. Now, I'm going to just bring a little bit up here. Now, I don't need a lot of purple, and I'm just going to put a bit around here. And all I'm doing is just adding those couple of areas just where I think, I just want a different take, basically. And that's it. And now I want you to start processing how you're starting to build up your layers, because the blue sort of, we're now going to take the blue into this sort of, we're going to have this as sort of the sea area, similar to how Kevin had structured his card. But I'm also going to go around here now. I'm going to go this light salvage patina. And don't forget that little back bit, depending on how you've stuck your moon down. And this is just a sweet poppy. I'm just going to bring that blue into the purple and down. And the dark, I'm going to be bringing that darker in. So don't worry if you think that looks a bit of a blurry mess. And I'm going to take a bit of blue over here. And then where you've got your sort of sea area, I just want to take that line up to there. Always interesting with Lisa, yeah. Oh, it's just a different way of showcasing just different styles. I mean, Eileen does some fantastic things the way she layers her stencils, and that softness and that variety is beautiful. Right, so I'm on broken china, and again I'm just going to start pulling a different colour through. And I've got this lighter area here, and I just want to take that to that sort of pencil line area that I've done now. And remember, I'm going to say that's sort of the coloured area, and then we're going to go into this darker area. But this is my sea area here. So I'm just going to take this colour as close as I want or feel, just to that part there. Now I'm going to go in with the darker colours. Now the two darker colours I've got is Blueprint Sketch and Uncharted. Now on the bigger version, both of these blues will sort of balance each other. So I've got a darker brush now, and I'm going to go in with the bluer colour. So Blueprint, as you can see, they are two totally different colours. Uncharted is my finishing colour sort of thing, but I just want to give this, because we've got that light balance coming down here, I want to give that darker element to the sea. Or if it's not the sea, it's whatever your interpretation is. Could be a pond, it could be a river, could be anything. So all I'm going to do is just take it through. And bear in mind, I've got that oh, there we go. I've got that masking fluid there. And I'm going to go on with Uncharted now. Now, this is where I'm going to take the Uncharted, and I'm going to take it up to where my moon is. I'm going to bring it down here. I'm going to take a bit up here, and I'm going to leave that lighter area because I want that sort of scale. And I'm not too worried if it looks too dark in places. Pan pastel saves the day, as we say. So I'm going to leave this sort of lightish area, but I am going to just take a little bit across, just so I get a bit of a blend here. And then again, I'm just going to take a little bit from the blue. I'm just going to take it up, just so it just finishes my card on that particular side area there. And yeah, I'm going to take that around here and take it down and across. So how will we build? Let me have a look at that. Okay, yeah, Rosemary, you're still asleep. She might be, you know, bless her. She needs to set an alarm. I find that quite funny. Right, okay, let's just bring that through there. Okay, so we've got a nice little blend on there. We've got that sort of, I don't know how to capture it really, how to explain it, but that's my little version of. Now on this bottom area here, I'm going to put some greens on. So I've just picked up Mowed Lawn and Lucky Clover. So green. Do you know something? Let me just grab a bit of peel paint. See, I do alter things as I go. Apologies. Right, so I just... And I'm only going to put this on lightly because I'm going to put a little bit of like a watercolour blend on this as well. So let me just cover that. There we go. Right, now I'm just going to do a couple of layers of green. So as you can see, where I sort of move the branch out the way and put, I just want to play around with some just different depths of green. So let me... And again, I ain't too fussed with my brush. I mix up the colours. It don't bother me. Some of you like to use different brushes. That's totally your choice. I just want that variation of tones going through what I'm putting on here. And I think the clover just pops that green just nice. And it just gives that really sort of subtle balance. So we've got that one, we've got that Lucky Clover and Mowed Lawn, and I added a little bit of peel painting. Yeah, you've made it. Hi, Rose. Bless you. You got here, that's the main thing. Now, I am going to add a little bit of black soot. This is where, don't kill it. So I'm just going to add a little bit along the bottom area here and take it up, because I just want that dark sort of area here. So I'm sort of bringing it into that night sky, or that turn of a night sky sort of area. And then I can sort of, only a smidgen, brush some off, and then I'm going to just take a little bit over here, just so it looks like we've got a bit of cloud and it's just of a turn of that night time sort of thing. Missed the very start, trees and grass. So okay, so I've missed the start. The tree and the grass is one stamp. It is it's licensed by Scenescapes, which is Kevin, who I credited my original one to, and it's the birch tree large, and it's from Sweet Poppy Stencils. And all I'd done was I done that down, I've put masking fluid over it, and then I marked that off, stamped that off, wiped off the tree, and then just do two or three generations on that. Okay, so that's that bit. Now this is similar to this one, as in the cut. I've used the same colours, moved them around, etc, etc. I just want to blend that out, so I just need a brush. Let me, oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use a soft, let me use that one. So I'm just going to use this soft brush. Any brush that you've got makes no difference, and I just want to try and just blend away any harsh sort of lines or anything. And bear in mind, I have obviously got that fluid on there, I can feel it, so I just want to come into all of that there. Okay, now I just think that just sometimes that adds, and if you're not getting it, just go back in with your colour, that's the main colour that's under there, and then just take that blend. And I want to leave a little bit of white there, because that's where I'm going to be putting the other elements. Now I just want to show you this. So for those of you that missed the beginning, it's the Daler Rownley watercolour medium. It's the masking fluid, okay, and that's what I've put on the moon and on here. Now I love this stuff. So there is no hard or anything like that. It comes off in one. Okay, now I don't mind that little bit on there. We can add our little bits onto it. That's it. And it's the same when it comes off with your brush. So I'm going to take this off now, and I'm going to go from the top, as you can see. This is where I can see whether I've masked any good or not. So I've got that start, and all I'm going to do is pull. Now there's not a lot. Oh, it's just, I love it. Sorry, I should use this more often, but I don't. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just pulling off that masking fluid, yeah? Ba-dam. There it is. And then this one again, I'm just pulling it off. Honestly, you guys, I've seen loads of you moan and complain. You've rubbed off certain masking fluid brands and it's took off the paper and that. Not once. You've just seen me take off that. And I have put quite a decent layer on it, and it's not damaged this. Now I am using the Pink Frog Super Smooth White. Makes a big difference. You can use your Bockingford, you can use your Lavinia multifarious, you can use whatever card you've got. I just wouldn't recommend cheap, nasty card. Just you use your products that you want to use. Now, as I said, a bit of watercolour. Now, we've put this colour down. So getting some of that fluid. Honestly, there's no association with it. You know, they do it in smaller bottles as well. But I thought this was good value for money. For a tenner, I mean, that's 175. It's the big one. You know, as you can see, there's my hand. Yeah. It is very much value for money. And to be fair, I put them in. I've put it into this. I did put a needle in with it. The things fell off it though. So as you can see, Daler Rowley masking fluid, and I have this with me. And I just throw it in there because you never know when you need it. Look, it is lovely card, Moira. It is indeed. Right, let's get on. So let me move away the main brushes a second. Let me just put them out the way over there. Now, I have got watercolour pens. Now, you could use a brush and water. These are great. Like I say, inspired by Lisa Taggart. She's back. Woohoo! Missed her stuff. You know, so it's lovely that she's back. Lovely piece that she put on. And again, I've put fresh water in. And I'm going to use this one. Let's see how it works. And all I'm going to do is blob a bit of water on there, as you do. I use that massive. Oh, Eileen, brill. I'm glad we're on the same page on that. It really is absolutely fantastic. Now, where I have put sort of this green, because I don't want to ruin this, I'd rather ruin this part. So I'm just going to use this watercolour brush now, and I'm going to move around my oxides, basically. Now, when you've got water to your oxides, as you know, it gives you this lovely sort of movement, and it's like it really does give you that sort of play around. Now, I am going to squeeze and have a little bit more water as I go, but I just want to give a different depth onto the card. So as a mixed media artist, you want to play with as many different colours, products that you've got. Now, already I'm getting that lovely sort of stained look, and I can go on top of this because it's lovely oxides. I can go on top and add more colour, pencils, pan pastels, whatever. And obviously I can print on that as well, or stamp, sorry, my bad. So along here, I am now going to just do me a drop of water, make sure it's clear on my brush. And I'm just going to actually put that, remember that pencil line I had? I'm just going to just take it along here. I'm not going to worry about there. And I am just going to sort of skip along now. Now, I didn't do this on the other card. I actually painted that sort of reflective light on. But on this one, I'm actually just going to just do it with water, with the water, because make use of the product we're using, which is obviously the oxides. And I'm just going to pull that off a little bit, just so it pulls a little bit out. And already we've got a little bit of an effect, which is quite a stunning effect, really. So I'm going to think now, make sure I've got clean water. Yes, I have. Now, do I want to start playing around with my clouds? If I don't like what happens, I can put some pan pastels over. And bear in mind, we've got no masking fluid on there. So when you go into that colour, you're actually going to go into that colour. Now, let's put something about here. Now, on Kevin's, he sort of had some branches and stuff coming down, which I thought was absolutely fabulous. So that's why I've got the small, where's my stamp gone? There it is. So I've got the leafless, is it Bramble? I can never see what it is. I do beg your pardon. Hold on. Let me take it out. The leafless limb. Like it. It's a good name. I feel a bit like a leafless limb sometimes. Right, so again, I'm just going to mess around with a bit of cloud, just so it looks like we've got something going in. Now, we're going into darker colours. Now, bear in mind, when you pull them out into the lighter colours, you are going to get that sort of colour movement between the two. And if you're happy with what you've got going on, don't put the dark into your pretty colours here. Leave them as they are. But if you want a bit of depth and different variety going on, bring it along. Now, where you can see, I have absolutely not got my lovely colour, and I didn't do the best there when it comes to my masking fluid. all I'm going to do now is go into that. Now, bear in mind, this is a wet brush, and I've put a little bit of water down, and all I want to do now is take that along. So it's giving me the colour that I'm putting on, but it's actually blending in, so it doesn't look like I'm just plonking colour down now, because the last thing you want to do is just look like that you're just putting some random stuff down and you're losing your lovely blend. And if you're unsure, don't do it, and then just get your brush and do a blend, and you can put some more masking fluid down, especially with that lovely stuff, you know, because the joy of it is just pulling it off later, which I love to do. Okay, so now we've roughly got a picture with sort of a cloud depth, a little bit of a moon sort of scene. I mean, we could put all sorts on here. We could put fairies, we could put people, we could put flowers. Ooh, get quite excited now. So this is turning out a lot better than I thought. Now, when in fact, I'll tell you what. When Kevin done his version, he had a very, very light, let me just say. I'm going to keep it with the Uncharted, which is quite a dark colour, but I'm going to blend it off with the water. And he run down with a pencil. So just to give that sort of shading with the silver birch, let's just do as Kevin done on his and just bring it down. And that just complements the depth. It's giving you that sort of dimension. So don't think that you've got to leave it as a flat image. Now, you could do a brown if you wanted to. You could do, hi, Sylv. Hope you're well, my sweetie. How's the healing going? Hopefully it's going a lot better and you're doing good. It's good to have you on, actually. Missed the old dib shout out from you, sweetness. You're giving everybody a free rein, you are. Right, let's just bring that up. Okay, and then a little bit just to go up here. Now, I am going to do sort of like a mossy, I say a mossy-esque sort of thing. So I'm going to go in with peeled paint. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on my brush here. And what I just want to sort of have a look. Sometimes at the bases of trees, you do have sort of like a moss sort of look. I mean, you can even take it up, because I mean, moss does go in all different places. I love going into the woods and just looking at the different depths and stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, well, you know, healing good and slow is better than fast and like you're backtracking, you're back in hospital. So I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, bless. Yeah, we're all sending you healing hugs. Okay, so now, as you can see, I've just added a little bit of sort of a moss-esque sort of thing. So I'll put that on there. And again, if you wanted to go in with your other colour, mowed lawn would be a good one. You don't want to go into with too dark or too much, because you're going to lose the detail that you've put down. Now, talking of detail, I just want to put a bit of extra depth in. Oh, bless you. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of black soot. This is turning out to be quite a nice little starter piece for you. We've got the moon coming this way. So what I want to do is just roughly just take a little, and very lightly, by the way, if we had sort of, you know, a bit of a shadowing. Yeah. Nothing major. And I'm just dipping my brush in the oxides. I'm not putting too much water down with this. It's very, very loose. Yeah, very loose. I keep disappearing. It's all right. It's no problem at all. Listen, you're lucky that I'm still here. I have problems like that as well. It's just lovely that you've joined. It's nice when you get a fellow artist, especially one that you respect and you sort of look at their work, for them to pop on and say hello. So thank you very much. It's made me day. So let's pop that out of the way. So we've got that sort of look. Now I want to sort of bring in a little bit, nothing too dramatic. So now, do I go pumice stone? I tell you what, I'm going to go pumice stone, right? And too funny. Bless. Let me put that in there, and we're going to put that onto there. Right, so pumice stone. all I'm going to do is just do a light and very light, because although our lovely moon is gorgeous, it's not just a brilliant white object that's in the sky, and there is some light and dark aspects to it. Now, I've started with that bit of pumice stone on there, and then I just want to very lightly, and do not overkill this, because this is where you could lose it totally and it's gone. So all I want to do now is allow that bit of water that I've put on with the pumice stone to just move around, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else. In fact, let me just take that off, and then worst case, if you think it's too dark in places, just move it around, and there you go. Okay, right, let's just put the lid back onto there and onto there. Right, okay, there we go. So now let's get them beams on. So roughly I want to put on some white along here, pop out any more of that depth, because this is what we're going to do on the bigger card. So this is roughly half an hour this has took us, right? So I just want to put a bit of heat on so it's dry, because I'm putting pan pastels on. So we just want to make sure that the depth to this is now, this is dry before we put pan pastels on, okay? And if you wanted it as a moony sky and you wanted to splatter your little bits of white on, we can do that, okay? So I'm just going to do front and back. If your card curls, turn it over, heat it, it'll flatten itself out, so on and so forth, okay? Right, I'm happy with how that looks. Let's put that down there. Now, white pan pastel, where are you hiding? You are hiding there. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually I've got it over here. Right, so I have got a selection of my pan pastels. They're all in one pot. So I am probably going to use on here, I'm going to use some of the greens. So I'm probably going to do a light, dark. I'm going to use some of the blues. So definitely those two. I won't use any of the black. However, I'm going to use definitely the white. So I'm going to start with the white. Now, little brushes. Little brushes or your finger. Simple as that. I'm not going to sort of start waffling nonsense and it's like do this, do that. You use what you've got at the end of the day, and I'm very much about putting my finger into all sorts of nonsense. So the first thing I'm going to do is I just want to bring that sort of area, you know, where you've got the depth between land and sea, and I am going to blend this with my finger now. So here now, I'm going to take that up a little bit more, and again I'm going to blend it into the oxides. So I've now got that sort of background, which is getting you ready for this part of the larger card that we will do shortly. Now along here I'm going to put in a bit of white around here, because I think that's what I want to do. This is where you do you know, I haven't got to tell you where to put bye Susan, have a lovely Sunday. Yes, oh sorry, bye, have a fabulous day. I miss them bits, and it's only when everybody starts commenting so much I can actually see what you're all saying. So my apologies. So there we go. Put a little bit of white here, a little bit of white there, adds to a bit of a cloud effect, yeah. And then around here I'm just going to do that sort of break between land and sea, and I just want to add that there, but I'm just going to mist it in just so it's there but it's not there, because then if I wanted to add anything else structure wise I can. And again, let me just flick. Now you can use pan pastels, pastel pencils. Good job I hadn't had a gin there, innit? Any chalks, anything like that, yeah. So to calm my moon down, as it's a full moon in all its glory, I've just put a little bit of pan pastel over that. Now to get that beam down, it's all about my finger now, and I want that to go that way, okay? So whatever hits the tree, the grass or anything, you've got to give a highlight. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my, as you can see, I put my finger in my pan pastel. In fact, let me just grab the pan pastel out of the, oh, so I'm going to put that out, and that's your titanium white. And all I'm going to do now is go from here and I'm going to take it down like so. I'm going to be seeing loads of people's moonbeams now. Now, I am really going to bring it on there. Let's take it to there. You can do this as much as you like. And if you've got like proper little white knobbly bits on, even better, because they will give you such a fabulous effect. So when I look at this now, whoop, aye. Sorry, folks, I just like elbowed you. It's only problem when I've got cameras everywhere. And I want to bring it down here. Let me just do that one down. Let me go that way. Now, as you can see, I just had a proper wonky donkey moment then. So now you can see I've got that sort of style going on, and I want sort of where you want more of a stronger beam, and that you haven't got to worry about a card, you haven't got to worry about, you know, certain angles or anything like that on that. You don't like what's on there, that's what the rubber's all about. Okay, so let me put that white back in there before I start knocking folk about again. And I'm going to blow on there. Now, where did I put my rubber? Now, I've got a choice of just a bog standard rubber. As I said, I've just got my blade, took off the grubby bit. I've got my I was going to say my dial around it. It's Derwent pencil rubber. And all you want to do is, if you want to highlight an area now, you can go down and just take that area just a little bit more sort of flush if you want. You can take it down, and I am actually going to just bring my moon back out a second. There we go, as you do. Now you can, that's better, I just want a softer blend. So you can actually blend away that area there and then just blend it in soft for your beams in that sense, okay? And if you want like really dominant sort of straight lines, you can use a piece of paper, but all I'm going to do is literally just rub it down. I mean, there's nothing difficult to this. You can all do it. I have faith in a lot of you. So none of these are trade secrets. We all can go and find these on different places, you know. So there's nothing, I'm not teaching anybody to suck eggs, so to speak. So there's your beams, yeah. And if you want to add a little bit more in, just add a little bit more in, if that's what you want. If you don't want it so harsh, soften that edge, yeah. So there we've got that. Now I do actually want to take that a little bit. Yeah, that's better. This is just me, by the way. It's not you, it's me. Yeah, okay. So I've now got that going on. So, right, what I want now is a good white. Now, I do, you know, I've always said about this. This is the best white on the market. Everything keeps freezing. Oh, it's all right on my end. I believe Facebook's okay and Instagram's okay. So if something's freezing, log in, log out. So apologies. Unless it's oiling, taking the network coverage. That could be the other option. So I have got, oh, brilliant. There you go then. I have got my number 15/0 Lavinia detail brush. Now I've just put it in my gob. And the reason why I do that is I want to make sure, for one, all the point on my brush is going fine. When you dip it into water, sometimes it does give a strain, you have a blob of water on. I want to see exactly what that brush is doing. Now, I want my, oh, let me grab that. I'm just going to squirt a little bit of water into there and a little bit of water here. Nothing major. And the reason why I'm going to do that is I'm going to pull some white into here. I'm not going to use that. YouTube, yeah, I'll say everything seems okay. It could be just you, sweetie. Sorry. And all I'm going to do there is, for one, I don't waste any paint because these are expensive, but they're worth it. When I say expensive, I think it was about 11 quid. But for a little pot of paint, some people find that expensive. So, you know, I'm just being straight with you. I want to now highlight where the sort of the sunbeams are, or you know, the moonbeams are hitting. So it's going to hit a branch here. So I just want to just pull that. Now this depends on how steady your hand is to how you're going to sort of, as you can see, brought this ink and yeah, honestly, it's brilliant. All I'm doing is just doing a very little line so it looks like you've got that reflection, okay? So again, it's a case of, I don't recommend, I've been doing this a long time. I just don't broadcast the fact that I've been doing it a long time. However, you get to know decent products, decent people, etc., etc. But it's one of them. Everyone's got their own personal preference, so I'm not here to say this is better. I'm just saying for me, it's the best white ever because it does exactly what I need it to do. It stays white. But that in itself is a huge thing, right? So what you've got to think about is you've got undertones of branches, you've got frontal bit. What's going to hit first? And those are when you look at a reflective, that's what you've got to think about. Where is it going to hit first? It's a bit like when you're putting snow down on something. Where is it going to land? So I know all down here, I'm going to have a highlight. And I know all this side here, I'm going to have a highlight here, this side here, etc., etc. And if it gets too blobby, just get yourself a little bit more liquid on. Yes, doctor. It is indeed. Okay. So let's just put that there. Let's put that there. A little bit here, a little bit there. You haven't got to have a lot on. You haven't got to have a. Sorry if I'm missing. I do apologise. That's just like how it goes, unfortunately. But just those little bits will actually make a difference. It's all about your little bits of detail now that will pull your card together. Yeah, and that is the difference between you and somebody else's designs. How much are you putting into it? Now we've got like sort of grassy here. Let's give it a little bit of a shimmer. And when I say a shimmer, I'll just remove that. I don't know what that was, but there you go, it's gone. Where I've got those sort of areas of grassy clumps, that's as the stamp's been designed, I just want them to hit. So I'm just skipping over. So there is no sort of, oh, it's got to look like this, or it's got to, if you don't like something, just use your finger and just smudge it out a bit, because nothing's got to be perfect. Nothing's got to be sort of exact. You do what you like. Now if you want to say, well, I just want to maybe do a couple of strokes of grass, do it, because you ain't gonna, for one, you're not going to see it, because it's pointless me doing it in black. We're just going to do it as a little highlighted area, and again it'll just give you that added, where those beams are coming down, it's like it's hit sort of thing. Now on Kevin's card, he put down some tree area, so I am actually going to get this leafless limb, and I'm just going to add a couple of branches down. So let me just look first before I do, because I don't want to ruin what we've done. So shan't I? No, actually I think I'm going to leave it. See, that's the advantage of doing it. However, I do want a little bit of something going on along here. So I might actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. Talk to myself, it's all right. I do that a lot. So I am going to use it, not for what I actually got it for in the first intention, but I do want to just put a little bit of something there. And if I put that there, then obviously I've just got to do a little bit of white highlight on it. And I think that makes the most beautiful, like, little sort of wilderness sort of thing. And it just breaks that area up there. So I am going to do it sort of there, I think. You'll see. So I'm only going to stamp, not all of it, because the last thing I want to do is think I'm stamping the whole lot and I'm putting a whole tree there, and I don't want to do that. So I am now going to move it to where I want it to be, and I'm thinking, yeah, about there. So I'm going to do first and second generation. There's my first, and then I'm just going to bring it down slowly there. Yeah, I think that'll be about right. Let me just add, sorry if I'm wiggling things around, I Just want to add a little bit there, and then I'm just going to go first and second generation. So to me, that's just given that forefront now of the picture, and that's it. That is it. So let me just add those little bits of white now, just to pop it. But that is all about playing with what you got, basically. Oh, here it is. There we are. I'm looking for the folder thing and it's in my hand. Okay. Honestly. Let me just move them out of the way. So that is the large birch tree, Sweet Poppy stencils, and that's by the Scape Scans, which is Kevin's. That is Lavinia Stamp, Sweet Poppy Stencils Moon one. I used a small one on that. I didn't use the mask. Now, I have got a mask on there, but I didn't use it. And I just used, these are gorgeous, by the way. They are ones I've used quite a lot. And then this is what we've just used, the leafless limb, but I only use that section of it. Okay, so let me just put them out of the way there. And I just want to add that little bit of white on, like I said, because it's pointless doing a card and not finishing it off properly. And your finishing touches are the most important bits. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave that, and it's going to be damp. And all I'm going to do is just touch here and there. Nothing major. And don't worry if it goes a little bit too white or anything like that. It adds to the effect at the end of the day. Well, that's what I'm saying anyway. Well, glad you like Sylv. Thank you, darling. I just seem to be popping up at the right time to see people's comments, which is nice. Like I say, I don't like missing your comments when you're taking the time to talk to me. Okay, so like I say, just a few here and there, and because we've got that sort of clump of stuff there, let me put the lid on. And that's the best thing with this, you just got a wet lid. You're not losing or having to, the only ink you're losing is whatever little bit is on my brush, and I am going to clean that straight out. So that is the first card. Okay, so that is your that is in homage to Kevin. So there you go. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to do a larger version of that without the trees, and just that particular version. Okay, so the things I don't need, I'm just going to move out the way a minute. The difference now is I'm going to use my seam builders. Beautiful fleck, love that. Yes, well, it's moon rays, but yes, it could be a sun ray. So you could turn this into a day scene as well as a night scene. So yeah, you can say that's the sun. Yeah, it makes no difference at all. But your beams of light could be out of a window. It could be, this is the effect that you use out of a window, out of a dark object having a reflective light coming out. But yeah, nice and easy. Now this is still wet. Let me just, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move this because can you just see how you got that little bit of like, yeah, hi Trudy. You've just got that little bit of reflective on there, so that's showing you that it's still wet. So I'm going to put that over here, and then I'm going to get the next piece of paper, because where did I put it? Ah, dear me. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous, honestly. Here we go. Ah, here it is. Got it. Trust me, of course it's the moon. Of course it is. It could be anything you want. It's YouTube. It's not really. It's button moon, and the moomins have just landed. Can you say? Oh, the other option you've got as well is just to put a little bit of glimmer over, but I'll show you that now on that. So you could, the effect of doing this is just that white basically hitting the sea, which I didn't do because I quite like the effect of that on a watercolor piece that we've just done with the water brush. Okay, so we're going to do that one now. I don't know, I've got my teeth in the wrong way today, I'm sure of it. Right then, so I'm going to show you how to do this one, button moon, yay. So as you can see, I'm using, I think it's 7x5. I'll tell you, it is, it's an A5 size, and it is Pink Frog, super smooth, as you do, my go-to. Love the stuff. Okay, Mr. Spoon, indeed, button moon, Mr. Spoon. Right, let me shift all these out of the way. Let's shift all them out the way, because we are going to need a few more bits and bobs, well, as such. So we're going to go off of this now. How I got that there to start with was just with my stencil of a circle. let me just get rid of that one. Let's throw it down on the floor. I'm being really naughty there. Right, okay, here we go. Let's do this. So, can everyone see? Let me just make sure. Hello to everyone on Instagram. Philippa, the Nutty Crafter. Hello, I love it. Who else have we got? Carol, Viv, Philippa, Mashka. Hello, hello, hello. Right, so on this larger card, I'm going to put this down as your reference, okay? Now, there's no masking fluid involved in this. So if you want to know the masking fluid, the last time I'm going to show you, Daler Only, watercolour medium, or masking fluid. It's got to be this one that peels off. You get any other brand, I take no responsibility for it wrecking your card, okay? Plain and simple. And yes, I have tried them. Damn notifier. Don't worry. You can watch catch up, Terry. Bless you. Thanks for popping by, sweetheart. Right, let me move that, move that, move that, move that. Right, okay. So I start again with the lighter colour. So I'm going to reverse my colours down. So red, white persimmon, spice, squeezed. Okay. Bigger brush. So you're going to mainly use your bigger brushes. And then with the detail, we're going to use the smaller brushes. I'm not doing any watercolouring, any water, or any of those effects. So I can move them out of the way. Just dwindling down what we don't need. It's half the battle, you know. We need that brush, we need that, don't need that, don't need that, need that. There we go. Okay, I'm ready to rock and roll. Right, yellow's our beginning colour. Now, the difference, as I say, is I used, you pick whatever size you want, but I actually picked just that round one. But the first thing I'm going to do is go on with my lemonade. So, squeeze lemonade. In fact, let me put that up over there so I can look at it. There we go. Hold, get that there. There we are. Right, okay. So, if you're following along, here we go. So, your light colour is always first. Now, I just want to get my pencil before I do. Rest and restore. Yeah, and there's some horrible stuff going around at the minute. When you look at, just so it gives you an idea, right? When you look like that, and you've got half and half, you can do this wherever you like. Now, it's usually you've got a bigger section for that sort of sky area, depending on the balance that you want. But you can do it half and half if you wanted to. But I just usually have a very thin pencil line just to sort of give me that idea of where I want that area to be. And I can go above or below that at any time. So it's a movable. It's just a guide for you. All right. So I think we better start doing something. Otherwise we'll be here forever. Right. Okay. Ready? So yellow. Now, I know that area there is going to be my moon or the sun or however you want it to be. So for me, I know that I want some darker bits of it here. Don't get her dibs there. She's on it. Unfortunately, I think, you know, when you suffer from migraines or anything like that, it's horrid because it does take your breath and it knocks you right off your feet. So already I've got that sort of rough, and if I wanted to go in now with a mood, see how if I wanted to go in now with that and white, it's perfect. Okay, so that's how I do it in my head. I can go around that with white if I wanted to, but at the minute we're leaving it as it is. I'm happy with it staying there, sort of thing. All right, so again, I'm just going to blend out anything that I think I don't quite like that. So try and keep it as smooth as you can. And remember, with these brushes, you've got that sort of lovely sweep over, and that's the bit there. It's that top angle. That's my go-to sort of thing. All right. So the lighter colour next is spiced marmalade, however you want to pronounce it. And I'm going to start outer to go in, and I'm going to come back a bit because I know we're going to have a darker colour here. So I don't care if the main bulk of that colour goes there, but I do want the colour to go in. And the brushes are brilliant. I've tried a lot. There's nothing that beats these brushes. I'll say that straight. They're fabulous. I've tried a lot of brushes over the time. And these are definitely the best ones. And I've just had one hair shed, and that's the first one that has shed from them. And I thought, wow, you know, that it is impressive. Anyway, let's crack on. So let's bring the orange. So now you can sort of see that we're building up that sort of imagery around. So I'm going to go in with white persimmon. Now remember, I'm still on the same brush. Yellow is yellow, oranges and reds are this one. Okay. Now white persimmon is a really strong colour, but it's the most beautiful colour for sunrises, sunsets, and it does give you that vibrant pop. Yeah. Now, it's a vibrant pop of a colour, but if you don't blend it, it's a colour that will just bite you in the bum, basically. So make sure you are blending your colour out. Take it to where you want to go. If you've got a reference picture, look at where the colour is. So look at sort of that rough area of where you want that sort of blend. Where do you want the colour to lie on your design, basically. Now I want a little bit of this up here. So I'm going to take it into that spiced marmalade, which then goes into, and if you want to blend, get your yellow and then take that over what you've just done with that white persimmon, and just make sure slightly, because all you're going to do is put that on there, and then all I do is, this is my yellow brush. Yeah, plain and simple, nice and easy. Don't get distracted then by anything. Now red. Now this is where you can go as sort of crazy as you want with regards to cloud structure. Obviously I had a reference picture, which is what I used when I saw that design that Kevin, but as soon as I saw that I thought, wow, that sunrise sunset is stunning. I want to have a go. And that's, if something captures me like that, then I will have a go. It was a bit like the Cosmos one. I thought, oh, I like the look of that, I want to go. And lo and behold, that's where we go. So if you've got any pictures that you look at and you think, oh, I'd love Lisa to have a go at this, send them me, PM me, and then I might actually give you credit for sending me the picture. And then obviously, you never know, it might even have it sent to you. Because I'll always do two. I'll do one to see if I can do it and I'm happy with what I do, and then one will be on the day. So I'll have two of the same image roughly, which it's a bit pointless me keeping two of. Now you can build up your layer of cloud. Now as you saw on the first one, I've done different little bits, but those are all added in with pan pastels. So for your starty piece, you sort of want to look at it and maybe think to yourself, well, I know this is going to be dark here, but then I just want to bring a little bit of that sort of cloudy sort of undertone going into it. You invent what you want. Now going into there, I've got my yellow because I don't want to take away too much. I'm just going to blend that onto there. There we go, sorted. Now let's get into the interesting bit, the darker colours. So we're going to put them down on reverse. Let me get my salvage patina. There we go. Right, I'm going to start with the purple, which I like to sort of add the purple in because that will give you, so this is wilted violet, and this will sort of give you the depth and the dance from the cloud. So that the cloud and that sort of dramatic, you know, that I just love it when you see the different colours dancing in the sky. I just think, oh, perfect, beautiful. Now don't worry if you put too much on, because again I'll layer it with different colours. So don't think, oh, I've just ruined it. Don't worry about it. You will actually blend it down in different ways. Now I'm just putting a dark tone here because that's where I want to start putting those layers up in different ways. My blues are going up here, but this area here is going to be quite dark. And I'm starting to layer it with different colours now. So this is where, I mean, move away that. I don't need pumice stone. This is where you're going to start putting your layers in. So I'm going to get my salvage patina as my next colour. And I've got to remember now, we've got sort of the sea down here. So I've not only got to go sky, but I've also got to go sea. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this over the purple and that red area there. Now you can see already, what is the name of the Rood. Don't understand that, sorry. Name of the Rood. Try again. Unless somebody else understands that. I didn't quite get that one. So salvage patina. Now this is a fresh pad. I am waiting for my re-inkers, so I had to bite the bullet and buy a fresh pad in waiting, as you do. Damn. Grieves me. Grieves me. But it's okay, because then I've got re-inkers to play around with when they come as well then. Can never have too much salvage patina. Gosh. Honestly, I just love the colour. So here you can see I'm bringing that down, and now already we've got that dramatic sort of effect starting to build up. And what I do want to do is actually Lavina brushes. Oh, I don't know, Louise. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. I'm going to now go along here. Now I always tell you not to do this, but this is going to give you that sort of line of where sky and sea meet. Yeah, so I've got my sort of base area there now. So I'm now going to go on to Broken China. Now I do want to pull some of that darker red. Oh, sorry, name of the red. Oh, the red. There you go. Lumberjack Plaid. There we are. Okay. Any red though. I'll tell you what makes Fire Brick Red and Candy Apple, Festive Barn and Barn Dawn also work well. So what colour are we on now? Broken China. I am going to do a little bit up here, because again, a different sort of colour pop. You're very welcome. I just wondered what you said. I didn't know what Rood was. I thought it was a translation of something else, but it's okay. Oh dear. Right, so let's build in the colour. Now, when you look at the sea, so how I've tried to show it here, you got dark bits, you got light bits, you got reflection, yeah. So, and this is where you can be as sort of haphazard as you want, putting the colour down. Don't worry about it. It hasn't got to be even, and it hasn't got to be. I'm going to put Blueprint Sketch on next. And this is where I looked at all this and I thought, oh, let me just pull some colour together. So I just pulled a little bit coming into here. Yeah. I pulled some around here. So this is very, very loose at the minute. And then I do want to just pull some colour at the top. So let me just pull a little bit around here. A little bit around here. Put a little bit into here. Yeah. Just remember, you've got all those variants going. You need to put the variants in. And the more you add on the layers, the more it's spectacular. It starts to pull together. Now, we've got those lovely little sort of bounces of colour around. Now Uncharted. Oh, I haven't even changed brush. Naughty Lisa. Well, that's me. I just get carried away. Now I'm going to turn this, because I want to sort of, this is going to be a darker area. So I'm not too worried about anything going here. But I do want to build up that blue smoothly, because I'm going to put my grasses here. So I'm going to now put the ink, and I'm doing quite large circle motions, but the more I'm doing, the more pressure I'm putting on to blend it. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Yeah. Now I want to go back in with that lighter colour, so I'm actually going to get Salvage Patina, and I just want to pop a layer here, because although it's there, I just want to blend it into that darker bit, and this will make sense when you start putting the pan pastels over it. And again, I am doing what I say not to do, which is that motion across. Yeah, but that's only because of how I want to sort of bring it together there. Okay, so next colour I'm going to put on will be black. Now actually, I just want to pop a little bit of Uncharted in the corners. So I'm just drawing your eye now up those top corner parts there. So you've got the lighter blue And I don't want to take away too much of what we've got going on there. Now, the darker bits now. This is where do not get carried away with the black, because you will lose your piece, okay? Let me just turn that over. So, I've already got some on my brush, yeah? So, if I really dig this into it, I'm really going to have a load of stuff on my brush. So, just remember what you're loading now, because if you're unsure, pop it off in the corner. And then you can see roughly when you think, I quite like that blend there. I want to then just bring that blend here, because I don't want it to be black straight out. And again, if you put too much on, take that corner, take it off. And again, I just want to bring a little bit of depth here, nothing too major. I'm going to bring a little bit more along here. I'm going to bring it down. Just remember, it's just eye line now. And then I could really just take a little bit along here, just to give it a little bit of additional depth, maybe. It's very dramatic now. Those colours there will always work well, no matter what you put down or where. You know, so bear that in mind if you're sort of unsure how to put something dramatic down. Have a play. Now I've put black down. I've got my blue, the dark blue, and I'm going to blend that in, bring it down, and anywhere I see sort of a harsh line, I want to sort of take it away. And that is your basis now. Apart from little touch-ups here and there, that's your dramatic background scene done off a plain white card. So a lot of you buy stamps and, you know, put them down and stuff, which is great, and it's a really quick thing to do. But, you know, if you can do the technique from scratch, do it, have a play, have a go. You know, don't worry about sort of, you know, mistakes. I've done loads along the years, along the time. I'm going to start doing as we're talking. I'm going to start popping on just here. And like I say, I'm not too worried, because I'm going to blend it into the oxide. Now, this is what I love about working with oxides. It will take the colour that I'm putting on. Now, you can use a brush, and I'm just doing that off camera. So I'm now going to start highlighting little areas that I think, oh, I just want a bit like of a cloud sort of look there. Yeah, I want to put a cloud here maybe. And again, if it's too harsh, just use your finger over it lightly to actually give that look that you want. Now up here, yes, I'm going to put white on, but I'm definitely going to blend it off, and then I'm going to get some light. Oh, there we go. Let me just put white back on. I'm off again. Right, I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to take it off a little bit. Right, now then, blue brush. Lisa's going to do it properly now. So, blue brush, and I'm going to go in with the light. So, on my pan pastels, I had that lighter blue, and I'm going to pop little areas. So, again, you can bring the intensity, and this is very similar to how a couple of other artists work. Different ways, yeah. So I'm going to add a bit of darker blue, and I'm going to just pop a bit of a darker blue up here. And again, use your finger, blend it off. And if you think to yourself, don't like it, white, blend it away. Yeah. So don't think I have just ruined what I've done. No, you haven't. So again, I'm going to get the lighter blue, and all I'm going to do is just put a little bit on here, take it into that, just to give it a bit of a dramatic sort of thing. So as I'm looking at that, yeah, okay, I'll deal with that. And then we have some white. Now this is just what's on here. So again, it's not always about reloading. Purple. Now there's magentas on here, there's a purple. I'm going to dab between the magenta, and I'm going to tap that off because that's very strong, and I'm going to put a little bit of the magenta here. And I think to myself, oh, that's a damn good match, that is. And I'm going to put a little bit of it around here. And again, this will give you that dramatic cloud if you want to start bringing it in a different way. If you don't like it, and like I've said before, I've just put myself a bit of purple on there now. All you've got to do is just put in a bit of white, yeah? So white, I'm trying to show you when I overdo something, what I do to take it back, yeah? So if I do anything, because even I do things over and I learn from mistakes, yeah? That's all I'll do, is then just put a white over it to bring it down. Leave it and then go over it again, you know what I mean, sort of thing. I mean, I could go here, for instance, and then go over with my oxide brush and really blend it out, yeah? And that takes it again, yeah? So you can see how the difference, if I went over with a light blue, again, I can take that over. And this is me just showing you different techniques. And again, the yellow blends that into there. But don't be shy to do this. Mix and match your colours, put them in, move them around, yeah? So that's what we've got there. We've got that little area there. Now, I'm going to start building up this area. And before I start stamping, I sort of want to think to myself, well, my sun's there. I'm going to have a beam coming down here. I need to start putting in some little bits of depth in places. Now, let me move all them out of the way. That's supposed to be white, so let's put that on there. Now, I am going to just put a little bit of white along here. Now, again, I'm going to say it. I usually say this every time. With regards to fixings, it's up to you. I ain't going to tell you what you can or can't do. You use whatever products you want to use. I don't use any. If you look on Pan Pastel's site, they last for 15 years. Why on earth do I want to put a product on again, more time and time again? I'm happy with what the product does. And over time, if it decides to go lighter, then so be it. I reckon that will add to the effect. But you can, if you haven't got much money, you can get your hairspray. A lot of people don't like me saying that, but I'm just saying it as it is, because not everybody's got £10 and £15 to buy fixatives. So yeah, hairspray. It does depend on the hairspray you use, to whether it yellows. That I've found out. Silvercreen yellows. Oh, what's the other one? Cheap ones do. Oh, crumbs. VO5's all right, actually. The pink can one. The XL number 5. That's okay. It doesn't yellow. Another bring it down the way. Oh, that's all right then. I'm glad you're understanding it. So now I'm just putting that lightness on that sea. So remember how I said it goes dark and you're going to lose things? We've actually got the light without even putting any white paint on it yet. So here we've got a lot of white there. Now I need to bring that colour down. So this is where you sort of take a breath and think to yourself, okay, let's do this. This is what I think anyway. So I'm going to start at the side and I'm going to start bringing in, I've got a bit of orange. Here we go. Now even I get these wrong, you know. I'm only human just like you guys. So there is nothing any different to me apart from my detail maybe, or the way I see a colour differently. You know, that is the only real difference between us, yeah? We're all artists in our own right. We're all learning, even me, you know? So at the end of the day, I'm no different. Now I'm going to put in a bit of red. Now, have I got a red one? Have I got a red one? I'm going to have to use that one, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, that will also be red. So on this, I'm going to do red and brown. So I've got like a lovely sort of browny colour. And I'm just going to sort of blend that in. Blend it in to take it out. So never just put it down in the light area. Take it in your dark area first and then just take it out a little bit at a time. So again, I'm going to use that reddy brown and I'm going to come over here. So you can see the difference now where that's, I'm going to have to put black over that. But I just want to bring this colour now into that area there, which is this colour here, which is this colour here, which will then go to where my sun area is, yeah? And then here, I'm then going to just bring it there a little bit, okay? So where you've got them bits of white and you think, I don't really want them. Now I've got the red. Now this is where it gets dangerous, because the pan pastel red is proper. Bless its little cotton sock. And I mean, you wouldn't expect nothing else. You want it to be red, but it is in your face red, and I love it. But when you're putting it down on a piece like this, and you can see that, bam, I've got a proper bit of red there now. I've got to blend that red into everything else now. So I've got to take, so I'm making more work for myself, but it'll be worth it in the end, if that makes sense. So there we go. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I like to be able to share projects that you can do. This isn't something you can't do. I am not sharing with you something that is out of your reach at all. You're all more than capable of doing this. Now I'm going to do the yellow, which is like, whoop, in your face. I love this yellow. I remember Mona introduced me to this yellow. She goes, use this, Lise. And you know something? Bam. Beautiful. I don't use it enough, actually. I'm going to have to start using more of this now in my work, I think. And doing more sort of watercolour work. I love watching Lisa Taggart do her stuff. She's so very inspiring. Her piece that she's just put on is absolutely divine. So now we've got that look. Now I can see the beams coming. Do you get what I mean? So now I'm happy with that. So I'm not going to over egg it. I don't even think I'm going to, well, I am going to put a sun moon, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to go about like that. Maybe a bit oversized. Yes, I'm going to go oversized in there, and I'm hoping that my lovely white brush is going to do white. Now I don't care if it doesn't cover it perfectly. You can go in with a white pencil. You can go in with pan pastels like I am. That's perfectly fine for me. You can just about say, so that's how you can sort of see that as well, sort of thing. You can just about see that sort of area. And I ain't too worried, because you're going to know when I put the beams on, if that makes sense. So I'm going to shift all this out the way, because I'm going to get some stamps now. The beams will be the last bit. Actually, no, I'll tell you what, let's do it now. Because then I can then bounce off where the light hits, if that makes sense, yeah? So again, it is a dirty, if I ain't dirty, then I haven't enjoyed myself. That's the way I see it. My moon's here. I want it to come down that way. So you can do one or two things. I can do one and have a really good blob of white on my hand, which I have. And this is pan pastel. And I'm going to do it in the direction that I want to go. All right. So don't worry about little bits going on to your water, because you're going to paint on there anyway. But for your beams, this is all you want to do. Just how I've done it on the other card. So I'm going to hold it and take it down. Now you see how you got that drag? Perfect. I just think that's just, I couldn't paint it better myself. And I'm going to hold it again, and I'm going to do another one down like so. And then if it goes a little bit astray, don't worry about it. Do not have a panic attack. I think I've just ruined it. Now I want some going that way. And again, you're going to have to move it to look at where you think that beam of light will go. Yeah. So that beam of light's going that way, there. And I think I just want a little bit just to kiss down this side here. Nothing major. And I'm rubbing it again in the pan pastel. There's a lot on there, and you can see like the blobs, the bigger pieces. That's what gives you your drag lines. Now just remember, if you don't like anything, we've got a rubber. Now with beams, you could have them coming out of different areas. In fact, there's a light a little bit there. Let me just alter this one. So I've just tapped my finger, and I'm going to just go like that. Yeah. Now, the reason why I've done that is, let me just, there we go. Yeah, perfect. Now I'm going to get my rubber. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. Just knocking people out left, right and centre here. Now on that, I'm actually going to rub around it, so it looks like it's actually gone in to that cloud that I've done the formation. Yeah. And then I do want to go at the side of it, and I'm going to do a bit in the middle like so. Yeah. Now And again, I'm going to go over it. And I'm going to just pull a little bit that way. Now, I actually just want to put a little bit more onto that. Like so, yeah. So that's just, you know, sometimes you get more than one beam of light. You know, when you look at a sunset or a sunrise, you think, wow, look at that. And I'm always with my other half, Dave, and I go, oh, look at the beams. And I'm a bit sad like that, but I'm hoping this picture is replicating that perfectly for me at the moment. So I want to just bring that down now with the rubber. Now, I ain't too happy about that, if I'm honest. So I'm going to swap on to this one on my Derwent. So that is my cheap, probably 3 for £1 or something. And I'm going to see if this is going to do any better for me. So again, I want to take it down just lightly. Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't even know whether that's any better. Just because it's more expensive, I don't mean nothing. Oh, don't know about that now. Let me just... oh, it rubs off. That's all right. Bloody thing. Sausages. Let's go back to my cheapie. Yeah, we'll go there. Hold on then. Right, what? Let me just... Let's rub it on the paper. That's better. Let's do it that way. Crikey. There's always a resolution. You just got to find it. Right, let's do this. I want to put some stamps on this and get things doing for you. Right, let's have a look what we got. Yeah, perfect. Now, you can do this to however... The thing that I love about pan pastels is everything's movable. Nothing's set in stone. Yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Right, let's get some stamps on and then we can build off them stamps. So, I'm going to use the one. Oh, are you enjoying this? Good, good, good. I'm going to use my Scene Builders, which is the number 2 set, and it's those two there, yeah? So, let's move that out of the way. Let's put that there so you can see what I'm doing. Right, let me move that out of the way. Okay, so, let me get my block. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use my VersaFine Nocturne, as you do, and I just want that much, or should I say that much. I'm not too precious about that, but if it goes on, I'll build up off it like I did on the first one. Now, when you look at dunes, as in not dune, but like sand dunes and stuff like that, you have all these lovely grasses, and you have ones with like these bobbly things on. Now, which is what I put on this set here. We like the bobbly bits on. But if you haven't got that and you just got the grasses, you know, the different bits, what I'll say to you is let me just put that there for starters. Let me just put this down. So it's, make sure you've got a decent juicy pad. Let's start to build this up now. Like I say, don't worry if you're only getting certain bits or you've missed anything. Honestly, don't worry about it. So we've got that little bit of grass there. Now I am going to grab my wipe and I am going to take that one off, and then I want one here, and I want that one to be like a decent size one. And I think that's why I used this one, because it was bigger and I want it there. But I mean, you can use whatever you've got. There's some lovely alternative stamps out there. Use what you've got, you know. But I must admit, I designed these for a reason, and that was the reason. Let me just get my tissue. Let's wipe that off. Now, I'm going to put that larger one on. And this one's off the 07, Grasses by the Waterside. All available on Nice Crafting site. I think on my Facebook, I put the link on just so you could see where everything was and what was what sort of thing. So on this one now, yes, I'm going to cover some of those beams up. But let me just put that there a sec. Good press, because obviously we've got oxides and pan pastels on the go now, and then I just want a bit more there. And again, I just want that little bit of an area there. You haven't got to over ink that area, because I only want that bit there. You can do first and second generation if you want, here and here. I'm not too worried. And then I'm thinking, to be fair, I just need a little bit more there, because that looked a bit like random. Yeah. Okay, sorted. Right. Okay, let me just get these out the way. So I've got a look. Oh, fabulous, done. It's all right. You can do it on catch up. But yeah, we've done a couple of different cards today. The other one's gorgeous, Dawn. That was the other one. That's what we started with. We're now on this one. A little bit more oomph to this on a bigger version. So, again, you've got the 07, which are these. Either of these would go nice on, to be fair. Even the ones with that, the grass bit there is gorgeous, you know. So, again, but I was trying to say about the bobbly bits on here. Now, you can like restamp on if you wanted to, and I'll just show you the effect that will give if you like double stamped again. Bless you, that's very kind of you. So all I'm going to do now is go over, and it just gives you that sort of bobbly effect, and it's not going to make any difference. Oh, nearly tried to you don't want to know. It's just going to give you that sort of area. Now if you look and you think to yourself, well, hold on, I ain't got bubbles here or there, you can just go over it with a pen. Now that's why I had the archival pen, which I will show you now, because sometimes like I say, you can add the detail. It's the detail that will make your piece. So you've got the basics there, but I mean, you could put little nymphs on this, you could put the mushrooms, you could put fairies. You've got loads of different options that you can actually add to this stamps, basically. So there's my little diddly doo-dah. Here you are. Right, so archival, and this is the number 3. So this is the archival Pigma Micron, which I love. It is wet. Now I just go over and I'll just put like little random dots in. And that just sort of, you know, like on some of these grasses that you get. Plus, it's another area you can bounce light off. There is a reason, trust me. You know, the more depth you can put into a piece, the more people will go, oh, wow. Which you've all done, and you've all gone, oh, Lise, that's really nice. But all I've done is there's a lot of hand drawing going on in what you're all going wow at. You know, and I'm showing you exactly what I've done. I've got a floaty one there with nothing going on. Let's just bring that down into there so it doesn't look like. And you know, some of these, like I say, I ain't shy for you to alter my stamps. Feel free to do whatever you like with them. The more you do, the better in that respect, yeah? You've got to add you into the stamps. Otherwise, it's a boring old thing, isn't it? Right, into me gob it goes again. You can see how fluffy it is, yeah? You put it into your mouth, I can see if there's anything that's going to go astray. Now, I know it's a really weird and wonderful thing to do, but trust me, if you put it into water, you get a big blob of water in it, and it all sticks together, and you don't know whether your brush is going to poof out, which means then that if you have a little hair sticking out, you're going to have a double line, and then it's like, oh God, I've just ruined what you've just done. And I don't want you to do that, you know. So let me clear the rubbish out of the way. Let me just clean that over there. Let me move that over there. Diddly doo-dah. Right. Back to this again. So what did we do? Now, I know it's still wet in there. However, because this is me, I want to make sure, squirt, squirt. And again, I'm just going to whirl it around, and then I'm going to take it off my brush. Now, I'm not wasting anything at all with this because it's all in the lid. And on here, which is what I'm going to do on the sky, I will show you, we're just going to squirt that when I'm ready. And that is, again, the bleed proof white. I got it off Amazon. And again, you do what you got to do. Now, I can see that this is still wet, and it's you know, one of those anal things. I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm just going to press it down. It's either that or you dry it, as in with a heat tool. So I don't want to put my hand on hot card, for one. So you see how wet it was? And I can still see. Now, with that being the case, and I've got gaps, I'm just going to get some black soot oxide, and I am just going to tickle. Now, you know me and tickling. And I'm just going to bring this, because realistically now the white will be your finishing touches. So I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. And I'm going to bring it, see where you've got that white, yeah? Now, I'm just going to take that down. That's it. And I'm just going to bring it here. I'm going to bring it round. There we go. So to me, that is more or less nearly your finished card. So let's just put those out the way over there. Shift them. Now, white brush. Oh, bless you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So here we go. This is now the difference between your card and your next door neighbour's card. Yeah. So I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. So what I'm going to do now is kick a little bit, you know, some of these little circles we've done. I want to hit them where that light would just bounce off from that beam. Yeah. So it's only here and there. You do as much as you want, but if you overdo it, you're going to lose detail in a different way. So if you use one of the fine detail brushes, you get the most tiniest of lines, which is brilliant, but maximum effect. So I'm just going to, let me just quickly go and just do on these blobs basically. Because then once we've done that, we can get that water in. Now what you've got to think about is how that's coming down is hitting this side, but you've also going to get that side reflection with the white, yeah? So this is where you're going to come this side, yeah? And it's only slight, so you can just see these tiny little doubles of white that I'm putting on, and now this side of what I've put down. And you can do little bits here and there just so it looks like it's caught it. And again, always the side where you want that reflection to be, because you put it the wrong side and there are people out there, there is some nasty folk in the crafting world that'll give you the most sarcastic comments, and if you challenge them, they don't like it, you know. And I am a challenger, and I've commented on many people and they haven't given me a reply. Shame, but there you go. But yeah, so be prepared. The crafting industry is not all sweetness and light. Let's put it like that. So for me, see those little bits of white there? So I'm just going to show you guys the little bits of white on there. I'm just going to show you guys as well. Okay. So that gives that. Now let's do that water. And again, we've got the fine detail brush. Perfect for a sympathetic. Oh, yay. It would. And do you know something? A very nice, tasteful sentiment. That's all you need. Now, you know, we've done them light bits here and there. Yeah. Now we've got that water. And all you've got to do is load your brush up. Not too much. You can see that there is paint on it, but not a lot. Now, confidently, little streaks here and there. Nothing major to begin with. You can build it up, because now you can see I've got a blob on that. That's not what you want, because that will put a blob down. So you just want to, now the best thing with this is, if you don't like what you put down, you can move it. Oh yes. So you're going to get a paintbrush if you need to, and you move it. So let's put a bit up here, because we've got quite a bit up this area here, and we need some more white. Now, across here, before it's even dried, I just want to put a little bit of an indication of I've got to put some more there. I mean, you could go, you know, when you look at water, you've got those lovely little, you could do little diddly bits. You could do a big white line if you wanted to. It's nobody's going to turn around and say, oh, that water don't look right. You ain't copying my card. It's your interpretation. So if somebody says, well, you know, that's not very good, is it? Ask them, for one, to have a look at their version, and for two, it's your interpretation. So I don't care how. I mean, I've had people posting their cosmic and they're going, oh, it's not very good. But it is. It's your interpretation. And I flipping loved it. For one, you took the time to do something that I've done, and you had a go. Other people haven't. So please don't be so harsh on yourself. So anyway, let's digress. Yeah, that's that bit done. So I'm happy about that. Now you can put your little bits of white in here, but if you start doing that, don't, you'll ruin it. All right, I'm being straight with you there. Right, toothbrush time. I'm just going to put a little bit of white pan pastel there. So let me get my brush of doing, because I don't want to ruin what I've done. But you know me, somewhere along the line it's going to happen. So I've tapped off. I've got white pan pastel, and here I now want to just give that more of a hazy, sort of heavier look. Yeah. So let me just really bounce that bit there. That's lovely. A little bit of a blow. Blow, blow, blow. Okay, let's just do that across there, a bit here. And then if you wanted to put a little bit of white where you've done those reflective, it will just give you that little bit more sort of oomph. Yeah, nice and easy. Right, let's splatter a bit of white on here. I'm gonna, now that is, as I've just done, bleed proof white blobbed onto there. Now the difference is I've put it on a little acrylic block. I've got so many blocks, it's unbelievable. And is it Michelle Jorzaline? She does exactly this, and this is where I got this idea from. So credit where credit's due. Her work is absolutely fabulous on her tags. Absolutely love her stuff. So again, another fantastic artist. But I'm just letting that water activate that, and then all I'm going to do on that is actually brush the white in. Now I leave this on here. This is my little brush block now, basically. So I want to move that around, as you can see. And it's just, I don't know whether you can actually see, but there ain't, it doesn't look like there's a lot of paint on there, but there is, trust me. Now, if you're putting stars in the sky, you want to just do, what's that? Oh, there we go. You want to just do spittly bits around there, and you only want to do a little bit. Now, let me just see if I've got a bit of black card somewhere. There you go. I'm going to show you how, right? Let me just move that because I don't want to kill that already. Where you got your brush, you get your brush and you just flick as close but not. And that is what you get. Okay, I'll show you again. Let me just put a little bit more water on. Not too much, yeah. Whirl it around. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over. Hold the brush like so. Hold it down that way. And you're going to flick, and you can move it wherever you want. However, you can't sort of, it is difficult to sort of put it into areas, but you get the idea, yeah? And that's how you move stuff around with a toothbrush, yeah? I mean, you can bring it up and have a real big splodge, yeah? Do you get it? Okay, so that is how to use it. And I know some of you have had problems. Now, if you have a little block and you get your Posca pen and you splodge it onto that, mix a little bit of water, you can do the same. If you're waiting before your bleed proof comes, you can do the same as what I've just showed you with an acrylic paint or your white Posca. Pop it on, a little bit of water, move it around and do the same. Okay, so there's a little tip for you while you're waiting for any deliveries to come. All right, so let's get back to this. So I'm going to put a little bit more water on that. And because I've used a lot of white off it, I know I've got a little bit in the lid. So I'm just going to put my brush in. You can clearly see what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm just going to put that on. It's the same product. So it's not like I'm mixing any products. You see exactly what I'm using. Okay. So I'm now going to just splutter around here just a little bit. Yeah. Just so it gives me that little bit of a, and that's it. Do not over egg it. Do not over splat it. Because you will not, well, you can move it, but then if you put water on it, you're then going to then change the whole look of that piece. Okay, so my people, what time are we on? Look at that. Yeah, honestly, please do, with a bit of Posca if you've got it, please practice, because an old toothbrush, I think this is quite a medium or a soft bristle. It was free. You know, when you got, when you keep things, yeah. Well, there you go. But practice on a bit of black card, blue card, your offcuts. Use them, practice, honestly. That's all I do. And that's how I got that technique down. Yeah, practice, practice, practice. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. Right, so People, let me just whirl my brush out. I have really enjoyed today. I'm sorry we've only got to do 2 cards, but I do think they were 2 beautiful cards that we've done. Let me just get the other one. Apologies. So we have done homage to Kev at Scenescapes and Sweet Poppy. And we've done that more as a watercolour. So we use the watercolour brushes. I got it everywhere when I did it. That's why you keep it close to the card. If you go up in the air, it gets everywhere. Trust me, I've done it. So that's why I'm giving you that tip. All right. But yeah, let me just wear a bib. You need more than a bib. Oh, I love it. Right, let me just turn that over then. People, there we go. So Sunday morning, we've nearly had a couple of hours, but it gives you 2 beautiful cards, and this can go day or night. This is more of a nightish-esque scene, yeah? And then this could be morning breaking. Like you say, it could be really good as a sympathy card, that sort of style-esque. I don't know, I mean, if you put fairies and stuff on that one, that could be all sorts. You could go into challenges and all sorts with it. But if you can master that, you can master any background. I love my backgrounds, as you can tell. I do a lot of different styles of background. I'm going to use some unique colours moving forward, but I challenge you, send me a picture, whatever picture, and I will try and replicate the background, and then I will pick from one, and that will be Tuesday's tutorial, you know. So please, you know, let's challenge me, you know, in that sense. I'd love to see what things you look at, what sort of depth or interest. And it hasn't got to be cloudy, you know, it could be anything from forestry, anything where you think I can manipulate it either on a watercolor style or with an oxide blend, you know. So please do send me something, PM me, and I'll have a go. And then you never know, if I use your background that you've sent me, that means I will send it you as a thank you, because I'll have one that I've done and then one that I do like I've got now. I've now got 3 of these. So I will be seeing who you know, who's going to end up with them. But yeah, so there's, I mean, it roughly is the same, you know. There we go. But yeah, and I don't care where you are in the world as well. Whoever wants to challenge me to say, Lisa, can you do this? And I pick it, I will send you that card no matter where you are in the world, whether, you know, wherever. Makes no difference. That'll be down to my cost at the end of the day. But thank you so very much for joining me. I will Matt and Leia. You won't mind sending me one then. Oh, bless you. Like I say, it's one of them. You know, Mum's already called dibs on this one, so there's Mum's card, so that's done. So yeah, I've got these 2 beauties here. So as I say, challenge me, you know. Thank you for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up. Please like whatever page, whatever social you're on. Like, share, subscribe. I really want to try and get my numbers up. I really want to try and get out there more to support you guys, you know. I'd like to do crafting more of a full-time thing. So if anybody knows of anywhere where they might want to utilise me for a workshop or work or whatever, I don't know, let me know. So I'm putting myself out there at the end of the day. So love to you all. Thank you so very much for supporting me. A huge thank you for Eileen commenting and sitting in for however long she was here for. I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to go. So let me turn off socials. Where are we? I'm going to say bye to everybody on Instagram. Thank you so very, very much for joining me, and I'll see you all soon. So catch you all later. Au revoir. That's ended. So Instagram is now gone. There you go. And Facebook. Oh, there we go. So there was one. There was the other. Let me just grab you. Oh, I can't grab you because you're on the WhatsApp. But I'd like to thank Karen, Pauline, Rosemary, Kathy, Gwen, Jackie, Ruth. Goodness me, all of you. Angie. Oh, there's loads of you. So thank you all. Bless your cotton socks. So glad you've enjoyed my little demonstration. And I shall Matt and Lauren see you all soon. So I'm going to say bye to you guys when I can press the end button. Where's the end button on here? Ah, there it is. Okay, so that's Facebook has now gone. So it's just us lots. So thank you, you guys, because you always get the best picture. So I might as well give you the last, what's it. So, yeah, I'm so glad you've enjoyed the demonstration today. Like I say, I can't wait to see what you send me or what you ask me to do. That's what it's all about, interacting with you guys. So I'm going to go. Enjoy your Sunday. Wolverhampton has sunshine. Woohoo! Right, I'm going to go. See you all later. So I'm going to demount you guys now. Hey. So there you are. That's what we've done today. I'll put that one there. There you go. There's me. Okay. So I'll see you all later. Take care, everybody. Bye.